When the nation became fascinated with the flying saucer craze in the 1950s, leaders of the healing revivals rode that wave by using UFO-themed sermons and published books and literature about God's plan through UFOs and more. Gordon and Lindsay started publishing several books about flying saucers, such as The Mystery of Flying Saucers in the Light of the Bible and The Riddle of the Flying Saucers. William Branham was no exception. Branham's The Voice of Healing magazine published articles about UFOs, and Branham introduced doctrines claiming that UFOs were everything from investigating angels to the ride that will carry the bride home to heaven. People's Temple leader Jim Jones, who was also a leader in William Branham's message cult in the 1950s, joined in the fun. Jones had meetings with Voice of Healing revivalist and editor Orval Lee Jaggers during the early years in the message, and Jaggers taught that UFOs were, quote, a revelation of God's power. During the years that Jones worked more closely with Branham, the message theology transitioned to doctrines that humans had lost their origin in the Garden of Eden and took the forms of other beings. Branham started claiming that his own human vessel came from another dimension that the world knows little about, and Jones began claiming to be a manifestation that evolved from extra-dimensional extraterrestrial, before he and 1,000 members of People's Temple committed mass suicide to leave this dimension. One of the more curious doctrines that William Branham introduced was that of little wee men. According to Branham, just before the end of days, little flying saucers would come to the church, and little wee men would be riding in them. When the UFO craze fizzled out, many of these doctrines were forgotten in Branham's cult of personality. Now that public interest is again increasing in UFOs, there is a strong possibility that message cult leaders today will start teaching their cult members about little wee men in little flying saucers. You can learn this and more on william-branham.org.